My friends and colleagues, we've come to a pivotal inflection point in the trajectory of a future Firmenich administration. I wish to again thank you for the extraordinary extension of trust, loyalty, and most of all, your love and appreciation for the values that we share in common and to which we have committed, indeed devoted, our lives. I'd like to comment at this moment of thought and choice about this inflection. Priorities drive our decisions in life, whether we consciously know it or not, whether we think about what we're deciding to do every moment that we're conscious. We are in fact making choices. It's about agency. And in my view of the intersection between what we call inorganic matter, the stuff of hardware and things, the difference between things and life, organic life, is agency, the power to choose. It's a topic that I studied deeply at the University of Utah in my philosophy courses. I remember a great professor, Peter Wendt, who was an outstanding teacher about bioethics. And one of the central questions was, is there in fact free will or choice in life? I do indeed believe there is. And I have a unique reason why. Our insight into the physics of breakthrough propulsion, indeed, my friends, and clean electricity forever, can only be actuated by life, by a choice to gently touch atoms in the appropriate manner to reveal an electromotive force that is otherwise unseeable in inorganic matter. That's a complex way of saying I believe in free will. And at this juncture, my priorities, and as they always have been, are in this rough order. Now let's move from the local to the global as we look forward to the future. Now, at this time, my immediate priorities are to commence the most important campaign of my career in the general sense of campaign. And that's the campaign to help save our sacred blue-green earth in the time frame we have to do so, and enjoy the process, be thoroughly joyous about the process as a human family as we do so. That's a century-long project, long after this body will have passed, indeed. But the amazing thing is that the wonders that we have been describing and I've been talking about are present now and imminently creatable by us. We have worked so long and so hard in the modern civilized era of the last couple hundred years, or just about, to achieve the kind of civilization that we presently inherit. And so when I talk about long term and us working for century forward goals, that doesn't mean that this year and next can't be absolutely dazzling and thrilling and rewarding, because they can and will be. My priorities when I touch down in DC are as follows. First, we need to help unite the American leadership across the political spectrum, across the aisle of Congress, and to heal the wounds that have divided cities and states from each other, and indeed even caused family breakups and divorces and such. That's not a place where politics has to divide, but rather it should unite. And so expressing that conviction and sharing the best ideas across that aisle is something that I intend to help bring to Washington, D.C., and to spread that philosophy and practice it, because I actually do share beliefs across the aisle, indeed. Now, next, all of these happen at the same time, of course. Any good CEO or president has to multitask, mind you. Our nation and the world face a significant systematic problem with inflation. And having been a father of the internet economy and still engaged in that fatherhood, believe me, we are able to tackle that in new and interesting ways that have not been really conceived before. And if I've done anything in my career, it's to design and create new things that didn't exist before. So that's sort of my bio in a short form. Now, we can approach that challenge by tackling the energy and propulsion systems that power modern infrastructure in every fundamental way. If we look at the physics of how we power everything that moves and how we move everything that matters or carries matter, those are the infrastructure target zones of my research and development programs, and will be priorities of a new administration should I be privileged to lead it. I don't know a single commentator on economics that does not note the centrality of energy and locomotion as fundamental determinants of pricing of every good and service that there is for sale. It doesn't matter what, energy and propulsion are priced into it. So a primary deflator of future economic activity is the work that we've been doing for 25 years in my laboratories and my companies. We're not the only ones by any means, but we're one of the leading edge enterprises, and that's what I'm bringing to Washington too, and providing that gift to the United States government. Now, on the scale of our international relationships, our foreign relations, the seriousness of the threats presented by totalitarian dictators cannot be overstated. It is serious, and the engagement that I believe is necessary is to tackle it head on. We do not need to hide or go roundabout saying it like it is. The presidents of Russia and China and North Korea need to respect the decades of progress made in international law regarding the proliferation and use of weapons of mass destruction, especially nuclear weapons, and that no nation should ever be saber-rattling offensively of the class of a World War II combatant again. The Allied powers that prevailed in World War II prevailed. USSR was one of them. And so my point being, let's reaffirm the end of World War II and erect an international shield to protect the new borders, however they may be designed or refined by the presidents of Ukraine and Russia. Those peace talks should commence immediately. And if Russia chooses not to show up at the table, well, I hope that the United Nations General Assembly can declare it as a grotesque violation of every treaty of international peace accords that there are. That is an international responsibility of the United Nations, and I believe the United States needs to effectively declare that there will be peace talks led by the United States and the European nations aligned through NATO, and require that the President of Ukraine and the President of Russia attend and coordinate a resolution of this conflagration that need not progress further. We have business to conduct with the great people of China and Russia, and invite the people of North Korea to evolve their leadership structure, and hopefully that can be done with grace and friendliness, the friendliness of decent nations and decent national leaders to each other. We also have some both wondrous opportunities to explore and some risks that come along with that. in the cosmos above our heads. We have some amazing discoveries that are coming through the Great Webb Telescope's eye above. That magnificent engineering accomplishment is revealing the nature of nature itself, where we came from, how the universe, how God created worlds and galaxies, and the opportunity to glimpse other worlds in increasingly detailed perspective for the first time ever, my friends. These are humbling discoveries that will reveal perhaps where we came from at a more fundamental level of physical science, how we evolved, how planets came to be, how stars evolve, and how they come to live and die at the cores of galaxies. Now just imagine for a moment what that means. This instrument is reminding me that it can be turned off too. My brothers and sisters, I am honored to present some new ideas for the future of our nation. And as a candidate for the presidency in 2024, I look forward to meeting old friends, new friends, and shaking hands and making new understandings that can last for a lifetime. I look forward to your support. And to all my friends in Salt Lake City, to all the agents that have helped organize a remarkable financial alliance, I wish you well. Those of you who are coming with me, I look forward to seeing you on board our aircraft on the way to DC. And we'll say to everybody involved in great science in that alliance, thank you. God bless you, your families, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you. My fellow citizens, my name is Joseph P. Firmage, candidate for President of the United States for 2024. I'm sharing with you this evening on the night before a special Thanksgiving this year for me and my family, and certainly for those I care about and am counting upon for supporting this unique candidacy for the next presidency of this great nation. I wish to share with you some history that is not largely known about my career, and the reason why, indeed, I am an extremely qualified candidate, and indeed I believe needed at this time to serve our nation and the world. I have been engaged and involved in creating advanced software systems at the operating system level for my entire life. From approximately the age of, indeed, 12 years old, I have been focused, at least 50 to 70% of every professional waking moment, on building the kinds of software systems that run our modern economy, starting at 14 years old when I started building accounting software for a family business. So P&Ls, balance sheets, and making ends meet have been a part of my life since the earliest memories as a young teenager. As my career evolved, by age 22, my first company, Sirius, became known as Atware. I named it that just before it was acquired for quite a bit of money by the world's largest network software company, Novell, which had just purchased the operating system that runs today's internet from from DARPA, the Defense Department's Advanced Research Projects Agency. The internet operating system was purchased by Novell just before it purchased my company to build apps, before they were called apps. And then the Department of Defense licensed my software and has used it ever since to help run major systems such as the fleets that protect our nation's interests across the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans around the world, and many other departments of our government. After that experience at Novell, in 1995, I founded what became the world's largest internet consulting company, US Web. And US Web Corporation came to build over 50% of the first internet commerce systems for the Fortune 100 worldwide. US Web, which then became US Web CKS with the last of 36 acquisitions on my watch, companies that we aggregated together to build one amazing enterprise, US Web. And by 1998, we had over 3,000 expert engineers and digital artists in 10 plus nations, pulling in over $2 million a day, helping companies, small and large, build their first internet systems for external commerce and marketing and internal operations. US Web indeed was the world's first global paperless company, integrating 40, I believe, insurance companies, health insurance companies, and across international borders. And oh my goodness, so many innovations were created by my fine teams in over 50 offices. In the process of overseeing all of these projects for so many different companies, I came to learn a lot about the future of our economy. And as the company went public in '97, I became extremely familiar with the inner workings of Wall Street and the incredible power and efficacy and talent that the securities professionals in investment banks, all the majors we worked for, Merrill Lynch, JP Morgan, just you name them, we worked for them. And it was a great privilege to learn so many new aspects of the details of how the systems operate throughout banking, investment, securities management, all the way from simple dividends to hedge funds with extremely complex code operating their financial platforms. One of the things that gravely concerned me was that the accounting systems that are programmed into our companies, large and small, in the internet economy, are increasingly programmed to grow revenue for growth's sake alone, as a simple set of numbers, not meaningful in terms of their consequences for such growth. And so the disconnect between the growth of revenue and the footprint that it costs in our biosphere and how much the machine consumes became a great concern to me. Indeed, I consider the internet economy as the world's largest machine. And it has different heads, if you will, cybernetic heads called Coca-Cola, or General Motors, or Sony, or Linda's Candle Shop in Topeka, Kansas, if there is one. That's how integrated the internet economy is. And as a father of that robotic machine, I have been dedicating the last quarter century of my career to help evolve it in ways that will help us heal both our wallets and our environment while it scales and grows properly. And so over the next several months, as my campaign for president rolls out, you're going to see the unveiling of the next generation internet economy operating system that we've been laboring on all these many years, over 20 years. And as you see it and learn how it works, what we're going to be revealing is how we can modify just ever so gently certain parameters in P&L and balance sheet accounting systems and software systems called enterprise resource planning, ERP systems made by companies like Oracle, and all the way down to daily accounting packages like QuickBooks. And by introducing new additional metrics voluntarily into the P&Ls and balance sheets that companies report in their financials, well, guess what we can do? We can program the robotic economy to do what we want it to do for us, rather than what it wants us to do for it, IT. Internet technology needs some evolutionary programming, and as a programmer and father-in-chief of some aspects of that, that's one of the things that I've devoted my career to since 1998. The other, of course, is advanced physics, to make these robots that carry us here and there and take us to Mars move faster and cleaner, and also to clean up the electricity grid so that our biosphere can clear the air and restore wondrous life to the lands and the oceans of this beautiful planet. I wanted to share these thoughts with you so that you understand that the economic agenda that I'm bringing to the next administration, if I'm so fortunate to obtain your support, will be an expansionistic economic vision that takes fullest advantage of the powers of the internet for internet capitalism done right. And with these adjustments to fundamental accounting rules and standards, basic adjustments to GAAP, we can include qualitative metrics like reduced plastic consumption, like cleanse the air, because we can measure these things now and formally include them in the valuation metrics and performance bonuses and payroll of the people employed, with less concern about the top line impact, especially if we move the dividend line up to an operating expense to guarantee that capital interests have their profitability as enshrined as the operating expenses for engineering, marketing, and sales. These are some interesting ideas that I will be rolling out for the evolution of a new type of company called a limited liability organization that melds the best of internet capitalism and the best of a values-oriented economy. And oh, by the way, in this type of economic operating system, we are going to be able to tackle inflation to the ground in my first term. So with those thoughts, I thank you for your attention to this brief video message, and I will be opening this discussion much wider in the days, weeks, and months to come. Thank you, my brothers and sisters. May God bless you, your families, and may God bless the United States of America.